Now I'm holding 26 properties. I have
Dude,
26
how,
and I have about 35 or 36 tenants.
how do you even manage that?
They're all amazing. If any of them are watching,
yeah.
I love all you guys.
Shout out to the tenants. How do you even manage that? Do you do that by yourself? Property manager? What's the status?
So right now I self-manage. I have been self-managing
Yeah.
for the past 11 years since I started.
Holy crap, man.
I've called a bunch of places. Property managers want anywhere from 8 to 10%.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you do the math on all the rentals that I currently have, gross, they can bring in about $40,000 a month.
Yep.
Gross.
Yep.
Right. Now, a property manager to stand by, literally just to be on standby,
Yep.
they want to take about 8 to 10% of that.
That's crazy, man.
So let's say they charge 10% to manage my property.
Yeah.
You know,
just
that
to
could be
there.
$4K off the top.
Right.
You know, so for me to self-manage is worth it. It's
Yeah.
worth my time.
Yeah.
You know, at this point in my life, at least.
Yeah. No, that's crazy, man. That's impressive.
So yeah, I mean, I would want to get a property manager at one point.
Yeah.
But right now there's no need because a lot of people, like when they think about buying real estate,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I don't want to deal with this or that. And in reality, there's not a lot of things that actually go wrong on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I have some tenants that I haven't heard from in over a year or two.
Yeah. Damn.
You know, if somebody calls you and says, hey, you know, my toilet's clogged, you know, and they call you for that one time out of 365 days, it's not the end of the world, right? It is worth it, you know?
No, that's awesome. Well, that kind of what you just said back there when you were buying the properties transitions, and this will go one or two ways, but in the current state right now, the market, are you still buying?
So right now I have been buying.
Yeah.
But I would say that's a two-part question.
Exactly. I want to get into that later. But so right now, would you say somebody wants to get into real estate and they want to, you know, buy a rental property, they want to start off, or a rental, flip, or whatever. What are your thoughts on that? What are your opinions? Is it worth it right now? You know, with interest, you know, you hear all the you know, topics, interest rates, the prices are all-time high. What are your thoughts kind of on that?
Exactly. All right. So what I would say is, I mean, that's a loaded question. That's almost like saying, is now a good time to buy a Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Are you making $10 an hour or are you making $600K a year?
Okay.
Right. So it's all going to be case by case basis.
Yeah.
I've bought more properties in the past 2-3 years than I have in my life. And
Holy crap.
properties have been, you know, ridiculous as far as value goes.
Right.
So people may see that I'm buying a lot now and say, why are you buying so high? But that's not the case.
Right.
So I get a lot of off-market properties.
Okay.
I work with wholesalers, one in California specifically.
Yep.
You know, the amount of leads that you generate,
Yeah.
it's huge based on what you pay for a property. You don't want to get on-market properties and pay full retail is what I'm saying. I don't do that.
Okay. I actually, kind of going off of that, I remember you told me when I bought that first one in Hartford, but you said you make money when you buy the house, when you buy the property.
Exactly, 100%, 100%. And I heard that once upon a time ago, and I've stuck with that.
Yeah.
In real estate, you make your money when you buy. And it's
Right,
100% true, because if you get ripped off from the get-go,
Yeah.
then that's it.
It's
There's
done,
no
yeah.
coming back from that. It's like anything, like a car, right? If you pay $80,000 for a $30,000 car, there's no coming back from that. No matter how smart you are, it's not happening.
Yeah, no, I agree. Rewinding back, you said you were working with wholesalers and off-market deals. So that, and it's going to be another loaded question, I guess. But what would be an approach to get the deals, right? So if we're making money off of the purchase price of the house or when we're buying the property,
Yep.
what are the strategies that you're using to get the properties for the best deal, right? Not necessarily they're the cheapest anymore, but you said wholesaling, kind of a little bit in that.
Yeah. So basically, once you get the lead,
Yeah.
it's your job to work it. You get to the property, you want to walk the property, see the condition. It's typically distressed properties, or unfortunately properties that are about to go into probate. Somebody has passed or what have you. But once you meet with the owner, so it's you and the owner, there's no middleman.
Okay.
And that's why the wholesale, industry works, because you cut out the middleman. and you get straight to the source.
Yep.
You can. I've met with people. I've sat in the car with them.
Yeah.
You know, look them face to face like this. Hey, I'll give you 40,000.
Yep.
Well, no, I need 60. You go back and forth. You meet at 47, and you shake hands. You have them sign right there on the spot, and that's it. The closing can take place a week from then.
Yeah.
You skip inspections, appraisals. Cash is king.
Yep.
You know, hard money can get you there also.
Okay.
With those off sale properties.
Yep. I was gonna say that was gonna be the next place we can transition as to how are we buying the deals, or how are you buying, the properties. Everybody, you see it all over the place now. We pay cash for properties, right?
Exactly.
Everybody's paying cash. Everybody's saying they're paying cash. What is that's your preferred method?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say that's also a gray area.
Yeah.
A lot of people say a lot of things online that are not true.
And
right?
and I want to get into that as well. But
so as far as cash, people use that word interchangeably. So when I first started in real estate, my first house, I got an FHA loan.
Okay.
The second property, I also got an FHA loan. The third, I got a conventional. And then from there, I basically used my own cash, straight up cash from my bank account for the next probably 10 to 15 properties.
Wow.
After that, I found out that using your own cash is not the best, smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
Because it takes too long to amass $100,000, $200,000.
Right.
It takes way longer to do that than it does to just borrow hard money.
Yeah.
So a lot of investors that say I'm buying cash are using hard money.
Yeah.
And when you write it in the contract, cash is hard money as well. They're both interpreted in the same way. And that's why everybody says I'm buying cash, I'm buying cash. Well, no, you're really not.
Yeah.
You're paying a lot on interest on the hard money, but that's the only way you can scale.
Yeah.
Because if I was using my own cash still, I would not be anywhere near 50 properties.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It takes a long time to accumulate that money, but then you invest it. And I remember having this conversation with you earlier, but you invest it, now you're sitting on it. It takes a long time to get the returns back. You buy a condo for
exactly
50 grand. Yeah, you can rent it out. You're making, $1,200. But then if you want to buy the next property, now you got to save.
Takes too long.
Yeah, now you got to save all that money to get, another 50, another 60, another whatever 100.
Exactly.
Actually, just going back to, kind of got this like in reverse order, but you said your first property, that was going to be another hot topic. Why? I mean, what got you into it? Right? Like real estate, right? It's like you don't just accidentally, bought a house. It's what got you into it. Was there a passion? Was there an interest? I want to hear that story. I know you're saying that the one lender kind of took a risk on you, kind of took a chance.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But what got you into it? Did you just hear, all millionaires are, real estate investors? Like what got you into that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say to start off, like, we talked about before, I started looking for my first house when I was 17.
Yeah.
Called realtors. Nobody would want to show me. I had no credit. I had no money. I had no experience. I had nothing. So some realtors would just laugh at me and hang up.
Of course.
So I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? I can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
Nobody gives me a chance. I met one realtor that was incredible. Her name was Veronica. Her and her husband, they helped me look for a house when I was 17 years old. She showed me houses every day for 2 years. She helped me build my credit, see houses, introduced me to mortgage officers. So from 17 to 19, we were basically working on me being able to get a house. Yeah. And then at 19, I finally closed on one.
2 years. Man, that's awesome.
2 years of driving around back in 2012 when gas was expensive.
Yeah.
She just wanted to help me out. And she was an angel. And like I mentioned to you before, I went away to train. I told her I was going to be back from work in about a month or so. I was going to invite her over for dinner. And when I got back, she had passed away. So this woman really changed my life 2 years straight. And thankfully, as far as my real estate journey goes, I wouldn't be here without her. Yeah. I really wouldn't be. But as far as what got me into real estate, from the beginning, my stepfather had a multi-family house. It was a 2-family. We lived on the first floor, and he had a bad tenant upstairs at one point of his life. So he never wanted to rent the property again. And so I thought to myself, that's dumb because you can live for free.
Yeah.
If you just put up with a tenant, you can live for free. And for me, that's always been my goal.
Yep.
I just want to
awesome.
live for free. And if I can do that, I'm good. So my stepfather played a big role in me wanting to get into real estate because I saw what he was doing wrong.
Right. That's awesome. You almost took the, you kind of watch on the sidelines and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to do it my way and better.
Exactly. Yeah, at least try, right?
No,
And over time,
that's cool, man. So after, so you said you bought your first property, FHA multifamily,
yes,
right? 3-family.
Yep.
Yeah, 3-family, right?
3-family, Hartford,
awesome. So
off of Albany Ave. If anybody knows it, Hartford, nice,
Shout out
nice
to
little
Hartford.
area.
Oh man, good old Hartford. So after that, I mean, you started. What happened after that? You started renting out the other floors, living out the top for free, right? That's what you were saying.
So I lived in the middle
Yeah.
with my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
We lived right in the middle, and what I did was I had a family live upstairs, which was her sister, and then downstairs, it was hard for me to get another family to live there because the area was so bad. And this is back before a lot of social media and everything.
Yeah.
I would print signs out at Staples for rent, and I would staple them to the telephone poles outside. And what type of tenant do you think you're going to get by posting in a bad area?
Right.
Right. So I had no luck with that. People would drive by, you know, we were supposed to meet at, say, 2:00. They drive by like, no way, I'm not going to live there. I'm canceling my appointment.
Yep.
So I said, I have no other option but to rent rooms in this house.
Okay.
I started renting each room out individually for $500 a month with everything included to University of Hartford students.
Oh, that's smart.
And that was my bread and butter. That house generated a lot of income for me. And at that point, I felt like I cracked the code. I rented out all the rooms in the house. I moved out. And everything was great, money-wise.
Okay.
But the headaches came. But there's always a but, right? So the headaches came.
Okay.
People would argue in the house.
Yep.
You know, they'd call me. They'd get in arguments. You have 3 or 4 strangers living on each floor.
Yeah.
Sharing one toilet.
That's rough. Holy crap, that's rough.
So you already know the type of calls you get in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So even so after all of that, you still decided to keep going into real estate. So so now fast forward to the 30 before 30 by 30, right? You accumulated 48 houses. So from then to now, right? We'll say until last year, because now you're kind of on autopilot.
Yeah.
Here up until then, the journey from there, you saw the financial freedom that it could give you. What did you see in real estate itself?
So when I had that first house,
Yeah.
I was mentally done.
Yeah.
I was drained.
Okay.
I looked up ways on how to give the house back.
And I feel like most people who would be in your position would do that and then just kind of quit. You just give up, right?
Yes.
Because, I mean, there's like, right.
I was so close. You know, at that point in my life, you know, I probably bought it in 2012. I probably sold it in 2014.
Yeah.
I had a full-time job. I was a catastrophe adjuster. I was barely home. I'd work a month in Colorado, a month in Texas, a month in Florida.
Yep.
My girlfriend was cheating on me at the time while I was gone. I come back to find out all this shit. And then my tenants are all, you know, just not helping the situation. So I wanted to give the house to the bank.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So I looked up how to just hand over the house to the bank. And I realized that it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody would do that.
Yeah. Here, take it back. I'm done.
Yeah, it's not what I thought. Yeah. You can have it back. So basically, there are things called deficiency judgments where the bank will gladly take it, but then they'll charge you for the difference if they can't make their money back on the loan.
Got it.
So I thought to myself, I'm fucked either way.
Yeah.
I have to make this work. Even though, like I said, it was generating money. Money doesn't fix all your problems when you have call after call and bed bugs, cockroaches,
Yeah.
mice, people breaking into the house, people trying to rob me for my rent.
Yeah.
I had one guy that was getting chased by a gun on the street while I was at work.
Hartford.
He kicked my door down to hide in my house.
That's crazy.
I get back home. I have to pay for the door, obviously.
It's your house.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like so much shit happened in that house because of the location, which is a whole nother topic in itself.
Right.
That's why location is everything, right? But that's all I could afford.
Got it.
I bought a 3-family house in Hartford as my first property for $112,000.
Yep.
Today, that property is $350,000, $400,000, even though it's in the worst neighborhood around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's all I could afford at the time. I bought it for $112,000. I sold it for $119,000. You would think, all right, he only made $7,000, but think about all the rental income for those 2 years, that duration.
Right.
So it did generate good cash flow, and it worked out.
Yep.
But it was not easy, and I told myself I never wanted to buy another house after that.
Right. Did you buy another house after that?
And so I bought 47 more.
47 more houses. That's that's incredible. So,
I guess it was just that hurdle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mentally, I didn't want to deal with it again.
Yeah.
But I knew what I could do differently.
Right. It's like learn off of it's interesting. It's like learning off of other people's mistakes, but the biggest lessons you will learn are directly off of your mistakes. And that's why that quote is that quote, you know?
No,
but unfortunately
100%.
we all just learn on our own mistakes, you know. But I mean, you saw the real estate vision, you know, at the time. Actually, it goes into the next topic I remember talking about a little while ago, or not a little while ago, a long time ago. Your daily habits, you know, and I kind of put that as a point because you were saying, and I love the way you said it. I'm like, holy crap, dude, this is amazing. I remember asking you, like, how do you find these deals? How are you doing this? How are you? And you said you're like, everybody else is scrolling social media. What were you doing?
Zillow.
Yo.
Zillow, baby.
That was, when I heard that, I'm like, dude, that is crazy. Like, you try it, you know, like I tried it, you know, I obviously now I'm in the real estate market, but it's the real estate business. It's a little different now, but, and I'll scroll through Zillow, but man, you want to see the funny dancing cats on social media.
I love cats.
Yeah.
Number one, I love cats, right?
Show the tattoo. No,
That's
next episode.
I got a nice little tattoo on my leg of a cat I got in Vegas. For those
awesome.
Watching out there, but
He really likes cats. So I mean, it kind of gets into the whole, you know, daily habit thing, which you know, people. It's funny because you'll see online millionaires, you know, daily habit of a millionaire, right? They'll do their ice bath at 4:00 in the morning. They're doing their journals. They're doing their you know, crazy breakfast and all that stuff. All you did was just Zillow. I remember you telling me, I'm like, dude, you got something going on that there's a secret. Like, no, man, I wake up and I scroll through Zillow. And then I go to sleep and I'm on Zillow. And then I wake up and I'm on Zillow again.
No, really. And that's what it is, the consistency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to Zillow. I was fortunate and blessed enough to make a ton off of just that app. You know,
That's crazy, man.
When I first started looking for houses, there was no Zillow. Yeah. Zillow did not exist the way it did.
Yeah.
There was some bootleg knockoff site that was nothing like Zillow, and it was a lot harder to see properties. Yeah. Zillow gives you access to millions of properties, and all you have to do is move your thumb.
Yeah, seriously.
You don't even have to get in the car.
Seriously.
If you want to see what the street looks like, you go on Google Maps.
Yep.
You go on Earth View.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that you can do from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what appealed to me as far as real estate, is that you can do it from anywhere.
Yeah. No, that's I love that. You know, it just kind of shows like being persistent in something that you really want to do. You know, I love the saying. I kind of talk more to myself about it, but if you try as hard as you can to do something on a consistent basis, you will see results. No matter what you do, whether it's, you know, fitness, whether it's finding properties, whether it's getting leads, whether it's learning how to read. If you keep doing it, you will not be able to do it.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. It might take you a little longer, you know, but you're going to be able to do it.
Give you a timeline.
Yes. And that's what I want to get into next, timelines, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I started looking for a house at 17. I bought my first house at 19.
Yep.
By the time I was 25, I was able to leave my job and, in a sense, retire. That's when we started our company together.
Yep.
And then after 25, I became a millionaire at 28. Right.
That's awesome.
My first million was made at 28.
Yep.
That's basically when I had my daughter as well, close to that time.
That's awesome, yeah.
And now I'm 31.
What
so
a milestone.
yes, I mean having a daughter is that's my biggest achievement for sure. But from 28, having 1 million as far as net worth goes, at 31 now I'm sitting at about 4.8 million total net worth.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, that's as everybody should know that net worth is not just cash in the bank. That's assets, stocks, this, that, total investments, but just shy of 5 million right now at 31.
Yeah, 5 mil. So you went from 19 to 25, 28 you became a millionaire.
Yes.
And then at 31 you became a multi-millionaire.
Yes.
That leads me to again another topic that I remember you telling me. You're like, I've made more in the last year. This was probably a couple years ago. In the last year than I have made in my entire 10 years of real estate investing.
Definitely.
Yeah, which is cool. It kind of just ties back to you can add anything you want. It just kind of ties back to the whole being persistent, being consistent, and taking all the knowledge and experience that you've accumulated within that 10 years, and then boom, multi.
Executing.
Yeah, executing.
And that's why one of my favorite quotes is from Bruce Lee. Learning is not enough, one must apply.
Oh, that's
right?
good.
We can sit and read a book all damn day. We can be online all damn day.
Yeah.
But I'm a kinesthetic learner where I have to do it. So I have to fail. I rather fail and try it than just read about it all day, because that's not the type of learner I am.
Yep.
Right. So as far as that growth goes, I owe it all to scaling. So that part of my life from 28 to 31 is called scaling.
Yep.
Right. Everything else was saving.
Yep.
So there's a couple different avenues, saving, investing, and scaling, the three steps. Saving is not as powerful as people may think.
Right.
The investing is. You can have a ton of money sitting in your account just going down, 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 down as you spend recklessly, right? But if you invest as you spend, you're still making money.
Yeah.
And if you invest correctly, it's always going to offset the amount of money that you spend.
Right.
But as far as scaling goes, scaling has to do with taking on debt. Now, the way I was raised by my stepfather, primarily him always telling me, if you can't buy it cash, then you can't afford it. Which stuck with me my whole life, and I love that saying. I never overreached. I always tried to be conservative, be cheap and frugal and all this stuff, right? And that's what helped me save to get my first couple properties.
Right.
But that was never going to allow me to scale.
Right.
And so I've always hated guys online like Grant Cardone, and a lot of these people. No offense
Uncle
to Grant
G,
Cardone,
Uncle G.
if you're watching, but
nah, he's interesting. He's a funny guy.
So now I have a different view
Yeah.
of that mentality, right?
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like, you know, the way they come off still, they can easily manipulate a lot of beginners, which is what's wrong about it.
Right.
But I would say that they are right in the sense that taking on healthy, constructive debt
Yep.
is not the same as taking on destructive debt.
Right.
Right.
That's good.
And I will say that
That's good.
I learned that from Kyle. He told me he actually told me that term.
Shout out Kyle.
He must have learned that at Winnick. Shout out to Winnick. He
Marketing
told me
major.
that term there one day, and I was like, you know what? Okay, this is how I've been thinking.
Yeah.
But now this is how you actually say it, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a term for
like,
things.
I like that term when you said it.
You know, and I realized that's what college is good at, teaching you vocab.
Right.
That's what college does. They give you the vocab, the words.
Yeah.
But what you do with that vocab is what can change your life.
Right.
But anyhow, the scaling part
Yeah.
is what allowed me to go from, 4 or 5 houses to 20, 30, 40 plus.
Well, and let's talk about that just in depth. You know, online, obviously everybody talks about the Burr method, right? Buy, refinance, renovate, repeat, whatever the actual terms are.
Yep. Rehab.
Rehab. Yep. So the scaling, that's what you're talking about. We're talking about taking a property, kind of explain a little bit.
Yeah. So
how to scale, especially an investment business. That's tough.
So this is what I'll say as far as simplicity.
Yeah.
Say you have $100,000.
Yep.
The old me would have got a property for say 70,000.
Right.
Put 30 in.
Okay.
There's my 100 spent, and now I can sell it for 170. I make a $70,000 profit.
Okay.
Right off into the sunset. Made $70,000 in a month.
Done.
Everything seems amazing.
Happy. Right.
But it's not.
Right. Why?
That's where I was wrong. Because that $100,000, you can split it up into 10 properties.
Yep.
If you leverage, the bank will give you 90% LTV.
Yep.
Let's just use a round number. I get 10 properties at $100K each.
Yeah.
Bank is giving me $90K per property. All I need is $10K per property. Now that $100K, I just stretched it among 10 different properties rather than one.
Right.
This $70,000 a month sounded great 2 minutes ago.
Right.
But now you got 10 properties.
Right.
Now, what you do with the 10 properties is what's going to take you to the next level.
Right.
Are some of those flips? Because you can make probably 70 off of one of those.
Right. Done. Just like that.
Quick.
Yeah.
You rent the others.
Yep.
You Airbnb some. You flip some. You can do anything with them.
Right.
But the power of leveraging and the power of growing and scaling lies within taking constructive debt. You cannot do it on your own.
Yeah.
It takes too damn long.
Oh, yeah.
Takes too damn long. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah.
I was proud to buy my properties all cash.
Right.
In the beginning.
Like real cash.
Yeah,
Your
real,
money.
real
Yeah,
cash.
your
I'm like,
money.
holy
Yeah.
shit, I just bought this house cash.
Yeah.
Right? Because my stepfather, when we used to live in his house,
Yep.
my mother always told me that he paid his house off in 10 years.
That's impressive.
So the average person is taking 30 years to pay off their house.
Right.
When I heard he paid off his whole house in just under 10 years, I was blown away.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the same thing.
Yep.
And so once I began buying properties cash on day one, I felt like I made it. I'm like, wow, I have no debt. But because I was so against debt, I didn't refinance any of them either, which is also a dumb thing not to do.
Right.
Right? Obviously, rates are higher now, but in a normal market, refinancing a property that has 100% equity is the smartest thing you can do, because now you extract all that equity and you roll it over into something else.
Right.
You can buy another property here in the U.S. You can buy one in Dominican Republic if you want.
Yeah.
Anywhere on the globe, as long as you have that money extracted, you can reinvest it. And then, I mean, it goes even further than that, because if you break down what you can make off of each property rent-wise,
Yep.
you refi all those properties, you put them into a blanket loan.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous. You have one mortgage. Like now I have.
I remember you were saying that, right?
Yeah, I have multiple blanket loans.
Yep.
Right. So in each loan, I have a different amount of properties.
Right.
So one blanket loan holds 8 properties. One
Yeah.
holds 5. One
Right.
holds 4. One holds 6.
Yep.
And that's an amazing way to do it as well.
The reason for that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were saying is just to be able to refi a much larger sum at once, right? So you have 3 properties, or you say we have 5, and you're able, instead of pulling 70, 60, 100, 30, whatever, you just combine them all into one blanket loan, and then you're able to pull out $500,000, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'll give away my secret here. Because,
secret alert.
This is hashtag secret.
This is what we've been waiting
so
for.
This is the secret, and this is what helped me grow.
Let's hear it.
From the beginning. A lot of people, a lot of investors hate condominiums. They hate them. They say the condo fees are too high. It's going to take away from my cash flow, this and that, and all this bullshit, right? I could only afford condos before.
Yep.
When condos were selling for $30,000, $40,000 a piece, I was buying them because that's all I had.
Yeah.
That's all I had to my name. I
Right.
couldn't afford anything else. I didn't want to take on any debt. So a lot of investors hate condos because of the condo fees, right? And it hurts your cash flow bottom line. I bought a lot of condos, 30, 40, 50, 60 grand, right?
Okay.
And the reason why they hate condos is that you can't really, I mean, you can, but it's very, very difficult.
Yep.
You can't really refi properties below the $100,000 mark.
Interesting. Okay.
So once you buy a $40,000 condo, now your money's tied up. That's why they don't like them.
Okay.
But again, that was all I could afford. I got these condos for that price, extremely low, all I could afford, put tenants in them. COVID happened. These condos nearly, some of them have quadrupled in value. No joke. Quadrupled in value. Now, what does that mean? That means now that they're over 100K, I can refi them.
They're eligible.
They're eligible.
Wow.
And the other thing that I learned, because we're not always going to experience some type of like life-changing event like COVID, right?
Right.
The blanket loan, what that allows you to do is roll them all into one loan. So say you have one that's worth 50, one that's worth 70, one that's worth 100, and so forth.
Right.
As long as they're over the 100K threshold, now you can refi them.
It's eligible. Damn.
So that was the secret. Buying condos, learning about the blanket loan system, and basically refiing a lot of the properties that I bought for nothing.
I don't want to say you got lucky, but like with the whole condo thing, you can't really foresee, like you're not going to tell somebody, hey, go buy a condo and then flip it into that. Or, I mean, would you? Unless you're getting it for 50K.
Well, this is the thing.
But the chances of it flying up to over 100.
Yeah, it's a different market.
Yeah.
Right. And looking back, it may seem like, oh, easier, I should have done that. But at that point, it was a huge risk for me, a big chance, right? And a lot of people hate condos. I do too, if they're not priced right.
Yeah.
Right. When people send me a condo that's 300 grand, I'm like, what are you, stupid? I'm not paying 300 grand for a fucking condo.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Right. But if it's priced right and it can cash flow and the condo fees are low, there's nothing wrong with condo fees. People seem to think condo fees are like the worst thing in the world. Right.
No.
Paying $200 a month. I mean, let's be honest. In condo fees alone, I spend every month $7,000.
Wow.
Right. It's a big piece of the pie.
Yeah.
But it's not the whole pie.
That's a gem right there. That's a gem.
So as much as I don't like paying that $7 grand, right? Among other costs, I mean, number one, it's a write-off when I do my taxes because
of course, it's an expense. Yeah.
But these condos allow me to travel. I don't have to be here babysitting, waiting for, somebody to call me because they're single family. They're, a shingle just flew off the roof.
Right.
Roofs, windows, stuff like that. In a condo, it's way less, it's hands-free. It's hands-free.
Yeah. Kind of like maintenance-free-ish, right?
Exactly.
In a way, yeah.
Exactly.
In a way, yeah. That's good. That's great insight. I want to do a quick recap and then finish off with two kind of topics. This should be relatively quick. So quick recap. So how many properties are you holding?
Right now, I have like 26, 27.
What are they bringing a month?
About 40,000 gross.
$40,000 a month. That's crazy.
Gross a month.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that you're honest or transparent, not rather honest, because everybody should be honest. But
and that's the thing nowadays. You never know who's telling the truth.
Right.
I don't know if you remember Nate from Springfield. He called me the other day.
Yeah.
We talked on the phone for like 2 hours. Like anybody can call me, and I'm happy to just talk about real estate for hours.
Right.
Hours and hours. And I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you everything. I don't care.
Well, I remember, not to cut you off, but I remember when I mean, obviously I text you and call you all the time too. We've been business partners. We've been friends for so long.
Oh yeah.
Bought out. And again, another story, another time, but we're still close. And I tell all the clients still, I'm like, no, we're still really good friends. Like we talk literally almost every day.
Yeah.
But I remember calling you all the time, hey man, I got this deal. And you're just like, all right, well, what does it cost? All right, this is the cost. What are the expenses? What are you going to like? You always broke it down. And then you wouldn't say if it was good or bad. You would say, what do you think? Like, do you think that's a good deal for you? And I love that about you because you're like, all right, these are going to be the real numbers. If you think making $200 a month in passive income, but you're on call every single day on a tenant, if you think that's a good deal, buy it. And then I'll rethink it. I'm like, yeah, no, that's
You're
that's a
"Yeah,
terrible
not
deal.
worth it. I'll wait for the next one.
That's a terrible deal.
And that's one thing too. So there's a shitload of deals out there.
Yeah.
You don't want to just deploy your money out to the first deal that you find.
Yeah.
Right. It's almost like going on Tinder and then marrying the first girl you match with. It's not the right thing to do.
Another
right?
gem.
You want to take your time and see where your time is best invested. There's a lot of properties out there, deals I see all the time that people will fight for. And I look at that like, fuck that. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Right.
There's no meat on the bone. If the market dips, there's not enough room.
Got it.
It's dangerous. It could be dangerous.
So transitioning, actually a perfect transition to the next thing. So wrap it all up. There's a ton of deals out there. Say again, I'm just going to bring it back. Say somebody wants to, invest in real estate. They have minimal knowledge, right? They kind of say they listen to this podcast. They're listening to, a bunch of other real estate podcasts. What would be a good first, second, third, fourth step for them to take? Say they have, we'll say 10K, right? The magic number. They have 10 grand in the bank. They want to get into it. What would be, and again, not financial advice, but like what would be a plan of attack on your end?
Yeah. So I'm not going to give, financial advice because I don't want to end up like Roaring Kitty with GameStop.
Should have sold.
But what I will say is, if I had 10 grand and I was really hungry to get into real estate, number one, I would tell you it's possible. Okay. Don't think that you need a ton of money because that is so far from the truth.
That's good.
Looking back at now what I know, now I've seen and I've actually experienced that you don't need as much as I once thought. I was doing it the old-fashioned way. But anyhow, if you have 10 grand in the bank right now and you are hungry as fuck to actually get into real estate, because you have to be hungry. You can't just want it, here and there. Be addicted to that. Pretend it's, whatever, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, and just go for it. That 10 grand, you want to use that as a down payment. Hard money will cover the rest. You get a higher interest rate. Who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, who cares? A lot of people are getting so caught up with interest rates. It doesn't matter if you can potentially make $100,000 in a month or two. Who cares?
Right.
If you give away, a couple grand of it.
The
interest rate, it depends on who you are and what your situation, what your goal is and all that stuff. I borrow money, sometimes at 11, 12%, 10%.
Holy crap.
Average maybe 8. But it doesn't matter if the money's going to be there. Right. So number one, get that 10 grand, use it as a down payment, get the hard money to cover the rest. Go to tax sales where you buy properties from the town, and you'll get great prices.
That's
all right.
A gem.
Tax sales themselves, you have to be a little more cash heavy on that. The hard money is not really going to help you with the tax sale, but it will help you with a foreclosure sale. You go online, look up Connecticut foreclosures in my town, and you're going to get a list of them. I buy properties all the time at auction, even the house where I live now, in South Windsor. I mean, I got a hell of a deal on that property.
You got a first deal.
The best deal of my life, right?
Yeah.
My proudest purchase. But as far as that goes, you never know who's going to show up. What if it's just you and nobody else? Then you win the property for the
Guaranteed.
minimum bid. And that in itself could be a whole nother talk, because learning and talking about the foreclosure bidding process before you go is huge. And that's also what has changed my life. For the better, learning how that system works.
That's awesome. So would you look on Zillow? Would you look on Realtor, Trulia? Like is that kind of like the backup plan? Like say if you're first time investing.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would become accustomed to using those apps.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
I say buy off market if they are available, obviously. But sometimes they're not available. Right. And either way, navigating and learning how to use Zillow is going to allow you to become an expert as far as comping out houses, seeing what they're worth, looking at different values, neighborhoods, historically, what they've sold for, this, that.
So use it as a tool. Use it as a tool, like a research tool.
Oh, yeah. Zillow is the Google of real estate. You go on there and anything you want to know, you can find it out.
Yeah.
Whether it's Zillow or you go on the town assessor, the database, you can find out everything. I can pull out my phone right now and tell you what the comps are in the middle of Miami, and I'm not even there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine how hard it was back then.
Nearly impossible. Like
you would have to know somebody.
Yeah, that knows somebody, and then you'd still have to go and visit.
Yeah. And what we have here in America is amazing. I mean, we have that basically that open source data.
Yeah.
Where some places don't have that. I mean, if I had to look at comps in China, I mean, that's a whole different ball game, right?
Right.
It may not be public information. Who knows?
Yeah. What are your current projects that you're working on?
Current projects.
Yeah. Current projects,
let's
future
see.
projects. What is Will's time being consumed by today?
So to be honest,
for the next
today, like right now as we stand, my priority is my daughter.
Yeah.
Seriously, that is
that's
literally
awesome. That's awesome.
number one.
Yeah.
I love real estate. It's my favorite thing in the world. One of my favorite things in the whole world.
Yeah.
But right now is for me, I call it a holding period. You have to take a step back and just see what's going to happen with this market because there's just too many ups and downs.
Yep.
Values are trending down. I mean, you can talk to a bunch of people and everybody's going to have an opinion.
Right.
But comps and values and the amount of time properties are sitting on the market, the amount of offers that are coming in, things are changing. Rents are changing. I used to put up a property and I'd have 20 applicants within like an hour.
Yeah.
Everybody had an 800 credit score.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to wait a little more. I'm starting to see that rents will trend down the more inventory that becomes available. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. I mean, anybody can argue, oh, this is this and that. And some people are saying the economy is going into like a roaring 20s situation now where they think it may even explode and become greater.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I try to play devil's advocate and play both sides. Like, I'm all for real estate. I wouldn't be holding almost 30 houses if I thought it was all going to tank.
Right.
But I'm also not going to be buying a shitload more right now
in case it doesn't.
In case it tank, right? So I am in the holding period, like just weighing it out, becoming cash heavy, growing my reserve, and just standing from the sidelines a little bit.
Yeah.
Dumping some properties currently.
Yep.
And just seeing how it goes. But I would
good,
not.
That's good.
I would not get overly aggressive in this market, especially not off of retail pricing.
Right.
Look for deals. If not, hold out, because it's a lot better to not make money than to lose money. And
that's good.
Sometimes
that's good.
Sometimes we really think to ourselves, damn, I got this money sitting here. I could put it to use.
Yeah.
And then we rush ourselves into the wrong investment. And then we're like, fuck, what did I do? So that's one thing. It's a good holding period right now. It's almost like a cleanse right now. It's kind of like a level playing field.
Yep.
It's good to watch right now. If a deal comes about, and you can get it for 50, 60% off, go for it. But if the property is selling for 90% of what it's worth,
right,
and this shit dips, and now you're stuck holding it, and now rents come down, and your rent can't even cover your mortgage. Now as they say on YouTube, doors, all this and that.
Yeah,
some people are making like $40 a door. When their rents go down, they're going to be making negative a door.
Yeah, they're paying them.
Yeah. They're literally, I mean, to me, that's, you got to be careful. It's not the smartest thing to do. Nothing wrong with, leveraging, but you don't want to over leverage.
Yep.
Because it will get dangerous. It's affected the auto industry with Turo, rental cars. I did that with the Porsche, right? I rented that car out. I'm a part of a lot of groups. A lot of people had fleets, and they are now downsizing, even liquidating their whole fleet.
Yeah.
They can't afford it anymore.
Right.
There's no bookings coming in. Why are you going to have 8 Corvettes and none of them are generating any type of income. They're fucked right now.
Right.
So everybody's selling. You know, it's bad.
Yeah. On a positive note, what did you say? What did you say? It's better to hold money than to lose money. What did you say?
It's better to not make money
Yes.
than to lose money.
I think we'll wrap it up on that. It's better not to make money.
Remember that.
Than it is to lose money.
Everybody at home.
That's it. And that'll conclude it. Peace.
We're out.